the recording software. Now what I'm going to do is record some audio. I haven't said anything, so the signal, there was no signal. Okay, so time domain. So this x-axis is the time. You can see it here. Can everybody see the mouse pointer that is? Okay, so the time. Am I blocking your view? You can come in the front if you like. Okay, so when I say nothing, there is no signal, right? So there is no energy, no amplitude, nothing. Somebody coughed, so it is like this, right, at that point. And then, oh, come on. Okay, so, oh, okay. Okay, so now let me just start from the beginning. This is all whatever I am saying right now. Now I'll keep quiet. My name is Om Deshmukh. Okay. I'm sure most of you got some information at least out of this. Now let us analyze each part of it. The first part was all some nonsensical things. Right, I think this is where I started, right? Okay, so this was really loud, and we'll zoom in and see what is happening. But this is 14.5 seconds till about 16 and a half seconds. So for 2 seconds, I kept saying and everybody will appreciate that that is really abnormal. Nobody talks like that in a normal speech. Okay, and then I think I made a set. Yeah, I said sir, right? Okay, now let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, now who do I ask? Megha. First part was the first sound here was which one? The second. Now, can you tell me which one is louder? Does everybody agree? Okay. Was I speaking abnormally across and sir in terms of volume? How many say yes? Volume was abnormal across and sir. How many? So others say no then? The group that said no is correct. Because the abnormality was in the duration, but not in the energy. I did not say and then It was right? So volume wise, both the sounds were normal. But still, Madhu, which one is louder? First one. So typically, what everybody should appreciate now is the vowels are louder, right? They are louder than fricatives or consonants in any typical speech signal. And how loud is silence? There is nothing. In pure silence, there is no signal at all. There will be a little bit of fans, fans background noise or somebody coughing or somebody opening the door, but that's really very feeble. Okay. Now let's see what this was. My name is Om Deshmukh. Okay, so Let me zoom in on a little bit of this signal. Okay. So this part is my, right? Again, and this time let me call somebody else. Okay. Uh, ma, can everybody hear that sound? Huh? Okay. Vidya, what was that sound? Ma. Ma is what in the broad classes? Nobody but Vidya. It's okay if it's wrong. It's a consonant, very good. But what type of a consonant? Voiced, okay. But what am I looking for? Nasal, very good. So ma is a nasal consonant, okay. So Naveen, tell me how loud it is. It's low, right? It's very low. You, no matter how loudly you yell, you cannot say as loudly as you can say ah or oo or any other vowel, right? So ma is low in amplitude. That's what you were saying by narrow. Narrow is really the amplitude part, so which is small. Now, can anybody guess? And Karthik, can you guess what this sound is? Nobody but Karthik, please. Huh? No? How many of you believe? Huh? It has to be a vowel, right? Because so no is a nasal. Let's see what it is. I. So when the amplitude is very high, it's typically a vowel or a voiced sound. Okay, it could be I, which is a diphthong. It could be year, but again, year is which is again a vowel. So typically, loud amplitude signals are vowels. Really small ones are consonants. Something in between, really small ones are unvoiced consonants. Something in between are voiced consonants. Good. One example is this guy here, a nasal. Okay, and then when there is no amplitude, that is really your silence. Right? I'm playing it, but you cannot hear anything because there is nothing there. Okay, so let me play this once again so everybody knows what it is. My. Okay, so it started with a consonant, a voiced consonant, which was a nasal, which is m. I, which is really two vowels coming together, which is called diphthong. Okay, diphthongs. So diphthongs are two vowels coming together in a smooth and natural way. Okay, so this part is clear to everybody? My. Okay, and this in the end the amplitude is low because I'm running out of breath. I'm running out of the air that I had pumped in. So just going off. Okay, now let's do a couple of other things here. Uh, who do I call? Amrusha. Anusha. Anusha, how long is that? You can make a guess based on what I told you here, if you're not able to really get the correct answer. 10 milliseconds. So this is 24 seconds at this point, right? And then this is 24.8 seconds. So 0.8 seconds is 800 milliseconds, right? And because I was saying it very slow, oh, sorry, 24. Oh, yeah, yeah. So 100 milliseconds, right? So 100 milliseconds is what it is. And because I was saying it very slowly, it is taking 100 milliseconds. Otherwise, as you can see here, all the consonants are typically between 50 and 100 milliseconds. Clear? So 800 milliseconds is really long. It's about 100 milliseconds. Okay. Okay, good. Now let me take this sound. I. I. So this is sort of a diphthong. It's not a complete diphthong because I haven't started with the part of I. So it's somewhere in between. And roughly how long is this, Kaustav? It's about 200 milliseconds, right? So again, it sort of validates what we're talking about, that vowels are slightly longer in time, more in amplitude compared to other consonants. Clear to everybody? Okay. Now let's go to a fricative. Is there a fricative? Okay, wait, let me pick somebody now. Bhargav. Is there a fricative in this? Can you guess? No? No. There's probably no. And I don't know the answer, so I'm going to say probably, and let's see if it works out or not. So what do we know? What do we all know about fricatives, Divya? Yeah, it's largely unvoiced, right? Largely because there's a lot of frication that is coming. And what do people know or think of when they hear frication? Is not there's no vowel in. There's a lot of noise. So a lot of signal that is varying in amplitude, right? So very high frequency. Whereas we don't see that here. Is that clear? So if I play this, the most likely situation of a fricative is this, but I'm guessing that is also not a fricative. Let's see what it is, okay? Name. So that was name. So there is no fricative. But this region is low amplitude because it's probably the m part, the consonant, the voiced consonant. Okay. And now let us see if there is a fricative here. And this is, I think, is again there is e, which is what I had stretched. Right. Can everybody still hear me? Or is everybody still focused? Okay, so this was is Veena question? No, okay. So E was still elongated because I was speaking slowly. But the S part, now see, let me just play this part. This is E. So you can sort of guess that the S is coming, right? Because I have sort of, I know what to say, and so my mouth is now moving towards the S. And that is in technical terms called co-articulation and things like that, but let's not get into that. Can everybody hear this? Okay. Okay. Now let me see if there's another nice fricative. This is Om. This is good. This, no points for guessing, but can anybody say what this is? Desh. Desh, right? And now, can anybody guess again? Sure, right? So now hopefully everybody will see that the sh is very noisy. So is this clear to everybody? When I say noisy, there is no pattern in the signal. The amplitude is all over the place. It is varying very rapidly. Okay, and so this is what a voiced sound looks like. This is probably a, they, right? This is the part. I'm already started saying a, but if you just play this part, it will be the. Well, you cannot hear it, but you have to come closer and hear it. Okay, so that is they. Okay, so this is desh, and then this is muk. I'm not even saying k because the end of the sentence I'm like deshmukh. Right? I'm not saying deshmukh. The k part is sort of gone. Again, I said if you talk informally, the consonant parts are usually sort of lost or glided through. Okay. So this is everybody clear on this part? Huh? Okay. Let me pause this. Okay. So just to revise, vowels are typically much louder, meaning they have high amplitude compared to other sounds, consonants or whatever else you have. They are also longer in duration. Nasals are somewhere in between in the amplitude. Fricatives, which this is a good example of a fricative, are very noisy and much smaller in amplitude. Okay. Now, this is at what level? This is about 200 milliseconds, right? And this is sh from Desh, I think. Okay, so this is a fricative. Now, let me zoom in a little more. Okay, in fact, I want to zoom in a little more on the vowel part. Oh, come on. They. So because this, it's beginning with some little bit of stop. There. Oh, okay. This is a good point I want to make now. So from last class, I said that when the voiced stops are produced, there is vibration in the vocal folds, and so even though the mouth is closed, there is something you can hear. So my mouth is closed. There is the which is coming from the vibration of my vocal folds, and that is the signal that is being captured here. This little variation is really my vocal folds vibrating, and signal is coming out of this, not out of my mouth or my nose. Okay, and this will not happen when I am saying p, right? You can see that I want to say, but it's not. Nothing is coming out because this is not vibrating. Clear? Whereas when I say b, my vocal folds are vibrating, so there is some signal that is being captured. So that's the difference between voiced stops and unvoiced stops. Clear to everybody? Unvoiced stops, you will not see any of that. Voice stops, you will see a little bit of that signal. There's a technical term for it, but let's not get there. Okay. Clear? Okay. Now, A. This is A. Let me zoom in a little more. Okay. Okay, so this is the A part. Now, I had mentioned earlier that if you look at one sound, it is more or less steady. It is not varying over time. Right? And I had asked Aishwarya, I think, to give an example in the beginning of the class. What is a steady sound, or when does the speech not vary in time? And so typically the answer is, if you say a given phone, it's not varying over time. And I say it's not 100% true, because as you can see, the signal is varying over time. But more or less, if you look at the longer windowed signal, assuming this is one window, the signal is constant. It is varying in amplitude, but it looks like it's the same thing that is being said over and over again. Clear? Okay, now let me zoom out a little bit. Right. Now I cannot say the same thing when these two phones are in the picture. Right? I cannot say that the sound is now same, because these are very different. This is they and this is sh. Desh. So they are very different. Right? Now, if I was to ask Bhargav, let us say, can you tell me the amplitude of this signal? Is it high amplitude or low amplitude? Good. See, he asked a very good question. He said, do I have to look at the whole signal, the whole thing in the window? Why do you think he asked that? Why did you ask that question? It's a good question. Very good. So if you look at a longer window of signal, you cannot make any impressions. You cannot make any statements, because things are varying. Right? For example, if there is a boy and a girl standing there, and if I ask, what is the gender, then what is the question you will ask me? Of the left person or the right person? Right? But if I tell you there is one person there, now guess, then you are in a much better position. Right? That's where short time analysis comes in. So this is a new term I'm introducing for the first time. Short time. Okay, so you don't take the entire signal, but you do short time analysis. This clear to everybody? When I say short time, you are fixing your window of analysis. Window again is a technical word. Has everybody looked at the videos that I posted yesterday? Huh? Okay. So everybody knows what I mean by window in a technical term, right? And that's where you take a window of signal, you analyze it, and not analyze the full region. So very good point, Bhargav. Okay. Now let me ask you this. Only in this region, what is the amplitude? Is it high or low? It's high. Good. And these are all very qualitative things. These are not quantitative. Everybody knows the difference between qualitative and quantitative. We're not asking for any numbers, just quality, high, low, good, bad, and things like that. And Ranjita, is this high or low? Low, right? Okay. Shivani, is this noisy or voiced? Noisy, right? So when we reduce the window of analysis, we are able to make good calls about whatever processing that we have to do, right? So hopefully what everybody should appreciate now is the amplitude, not the amplitude, the duration of the signal makes a big impact on the kind of processing that you will be able to do. Is that clear? So that's why time domain analysis is always on short time windowed speech signals. If you don't window the speech signal, you can make some statements, but you cannot make some very concrete and deeper level analysis kind of statements. Clear to everybody? Okay. Now let me further zoom into this and sort of give you a tricky question. Oh, what happened? I zoomed in too much, I think. Right, okay. Huh, why is the signal not coming properly? Okay. Huh, okay. So now this is the A part of Deshmukh, right? Let me zoom out a little more. Okay. So everybody agrees this is voiced. Everybody agrees this is relatively high amplitude. Now here's a trick question. I need to zoom in for that a little bit. Okay. Now let us say I take only what is happening? See, my mouse is at a different location and the red bar is at a different location. That makes things a little complicated for me. No, I think it's because of the projection. By the way, this software is called WaveSurfer. It's a good software if you're analyzing speech signal. Okay, if I only take this window, can anybody guess how long this window is? Just by looking at the time here. 0.004 seconds, right? Okay, so that's roughly how many milliseconds? Yeah, it's very small, right? Actually, I don't. Let me see if I can get an accurate answer. Yeah. So the number in yellow is what tells you in terms of seconds, right? So 0.039 seconds is 39 milliseconds, right? If I take it at this level, I'm still okay in terms of getting the main peaks, right? So when the vocal folds are vibrating, when they open, a lot of air comes out, and so you see this amplitude. And when they are closed, you don't see anything, right? Again, when they open, you see a lot of amplitude, right? Each of that folding of vocal folds and opening is one pitch period. So when I say ah, I'm opening my vocal folds, closing them to say the sound, Every time they open, a lot of energy comes out. Every time they close, there is no energy. There's a little bit of residual energy. And so what you see is the openings are peaks, right? Focus on the mouse pointer, right? So this is a peak, this is a peak. That is the gap between two openings of the vocal fold. Okay, and so that gap in time, oh, this gap is called the pitch period. For typical adult males, the pitch frequency is 100 hertz, typically 100 to 150 hertz. For females, it's slightly higher, it's about 200 hertz. So if my signal is 100 hertz, what is the period? Okay, so it's 10 milliseconds, right? So let us see if the distance between peak to peak is 10 or not in my case. Yeah, it's roughly 8 to 10, right? I mean, if I go a little bit, yeah, it's 9. So around 100 hertz is what my pitch frequency is. Okay, and then if I was a singer, I could change my pitch at will when I'm sort of going high pitch, low pitch. I don't want to try that, especially when it's being recorded, but there are ways in which you could do that, right? Now what I want to do is, can somebody volunteer from the girls to record their voice, just so we see that the pitch frequency is very different? And if you're not comfortable, I'll not record it. Okay, so now what we have seen is that the region between two peaks, the distance between the two peaks, is an indication of what the pitch frequency is. And we'll talk a lot about pitch frequency in unit 3. But there's a little bit of a comment that I want to make on unit 2, because there are some questions around that. Okay, now when I want to analyze the speech signal, what we have seen is we have to look at a particular window of signal, and that's why we call it short time analysis, ST. So you'll see STFT, short time Fourier transform, STE, short time energy, short time amplitude, short time magnitude. A lot of these short time things are coming because of the time varying nature of the speech signal. Okay, now the next question then is, what is a good definition of short time, right? If I take only this region as my one window, is this okay? So this is my one example. Everybody please pay attention to the board now. This is my one unit of short time. So this is one window in which I am analyzing. My second window is this, okay, and my third window is this. So you've seen 3 windows. My question is, which of these 3 windows is the worst, not the best, the worst for any analysis? Everybody says first. Kaustav says third. People are saying last. Some are saying first. And somebody saying second. Okay, good. So let's start with the person who said second, because I think you're the only one who said second. Why do you think it is the worst? The second window, let me just remind everybody, was this kind of a thing. No, it is peak to peak. It's exactly peak to peak. This. Good. So it is not the worst, it's the second worst. But that's a good point, that it's only peak to peak, is not going beyond. So the logic is correct. You're looking only at one pitch frequency, and that's not a good thing to do. Right? People who said 3, you said the third was the worst. That's actually the best window. But let's hear your logic on, and you also. Right? Yeah, so oh, but if it is getting multiple peaks, it's not good. Okay, that's a good point. We'll come back to that. The logic um, is correct, but the motivation is slightly wrong. We'll come to that. What was your reasoning? Actually, you are seeing a lot of variation. When you have three windows, three peaks, you are getting a little more variation, which is slightly better, and I'll come to that. Okay, now people who said the first was the worst, Veena hasn't talked in a while. Why? No, not much variation. Nida. That's a better answer. There is less signal. It's not complete, right? Less signal, complete is very short. It is, we are looking at a very small region. It's like if I tell you that some person is walking, tell me whether it's a young boy or an old man, and I show you only part of his shirt. You probably cannot make a guess, right? So it's like you're really looking at a very zoomed in version of that person. Yes, so you have zoomed in too much, and so there is not much information available. Okay, so that's why the first window is really the worst. The minimum that you want is a pitch period, at least one pitch period, because then you can make a guess as to what the pitch period or pitch frequency of the speaker is. But to make a very good judgment, you need at least 3 or 4 pitch periods. Not 3, but between 2 and 3 is a good enough number. So that's why the third window was the best, where it was capturing 3 pitch periods. The first was really the worst because, as many of you said, it was too much zoomed in. Right? There was a lot of zooming in happening, and so you could not get a good picture. Second was still better because it was between 2 pitch periods exactly. So it was giving you some information, but not a whole lot. Is this clear to everybody? Okay. So what we have seen is the amplitude varies, the time duration varies. Two main things that happen when we are looking at the time domain analysis of signal. Just these two things are quite informative in terms of the kind of sounds that are produced, the kind of processing that we can do. Because the signal is varying over time, you have to do short time analysis. One way of doing short time analysis is taking a window of a signal. A way in which you can take window really should depend on what signal you want to analyze. If you take too short a window, you are losing out on a lot of information. If you take too long a window, Abhishek, lot of information. There is too much time variation, so you cannot make a statement. Bhargav gave that example. He's like, which one do I look at, the first or the second? Right? Everybody should remember that. He said, which one should I look at, the first part or the second part? Because there was too much information there, so you could not focus on what part to look at. So looking at the window is very important. The size of the window, the duration of the window is quite important. Okay? Okay, good. I don't see anybody taking notes. That's fine with me, but as long as you all remember all that has been discussed, it is fine. Clear? Okay. Okay, so now what we are looking at is a semi-vowel. What were the words that I had said? My, year. Okay, my should be there. I is a diphthong. My name is Om Deshmukh. My year. So yeah. My. So yeah, you can think of the year part as a semi-vowel. My. Yeah, the year is sort of a semi-vowel. I'm saying my, yeah. my, let's see if there's a better example. I can just record something. Huh? I am trying to say a semi-vowel. There is. I am trying to say. Oh, there isn't. I thought. Oh yeah, semi-vowel. The word. Okay. See, this speech signal looks so beautiful. You can clearly say that this is some vowel. This is some consonants, kind of a nasal kind of a thing or a low amplitude signal, and this is probably some frication or background noise or things like that, right? So let's see what it is. I am trying to. Yeah. So I, and then this was your yum, which is your nasal consonant, right? And hence the amplitude is low. And then this was just background noise, which is what fricatives are, right? They're just noise. Trying to say a semi-vowel. Trying to say a semi-vowel. Okay, so this is vowel. Yeah. So ver, right? So this is what your semi-vowel is. Semi-vowel. Yeah. Semi-vowel. Yeah. This is the vowel part. Yeah. And like I said last time, these semi-vowels, sort of get squished by whatever sounds are coming in, before them and after them. Right? The example was also did you. The year was a semi-vowel. It just got morphed into the sounds that were coming before and after. Okay. Okay. Now,